And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces initiative she started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President and now carries on.
So I am here because this is a community in the Mississippi Delta that has a long history of being part of America's history, including having the needs that should be met.
So no luck on getting you to weigh in on whether he should remain.
Well, no. Listen. Let me be very clear. Yeah. Let me be very clear. We are not into regime change, sure. And that is not our policy.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been to Poland. I was in Romania. I've been to Europe, I think, probably at least 3 times in the last 4 months. I was in Munich, Germany, where I gave a speech at the Munich Security Conference. I was in France before that, speaking with heads of state about this issue, among many other issues.
We're watching all these, but, certainly we want to do everything we can. The president wants to do everything he can to release the pressures of the average American that's struggling right now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem as though inflation has a downward trajectory anytime soon, right?
He said that Vladimir Putin should no longer be the leader of Russia. Do you agree?
Listen, I think that you framed the point quite accurately and well, which is America's policy has been and will continue to be focused on the real issue at hand, which is one, the needs of which is why our policy from the beginning has been about ensuring that there are going to be real costs exacted against Russia in the form of severe sanctions, which we know are having a real impact and an immediate impact, not to mention the longer-term impact, which is about saying there's going to be consequence and accountability.
A 2013 trip to China getting new attention this morning, not for what Joe Biden did, but for who he brought with him. His son, Hunter, joining the then vice president on the official visit to Beijing, along with Hunter's daughter, Finnegan. Unknown to the press back then, Hunter Biden was forming a Chinese private equity fund, planning to raise money, including from Chinese investors. Years later, Hunter Biden acknowledged that during the trip, he met with a Chinese banker, which his spokesperson describes as a social visit, not a business one. 10 days after the Biden's trip, Shanghai authorities issued the fund's business license.
And that's giving 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people citizenship in the first 4 years in office. And it may take several years because some of those are under 18. It will take them old enough to become citizens so that they can add 30 million voters to the rolls. 4 New York cities will come into this country under his first 4 years in office. And in Texas, we're overrun, but they're coming to a city and a town near you in every state. Every sheriff in every county in America is a border county sheriff because they're coming everywhere. And Dana and Bill, we normally spend about $500 million a year on border security. This year, I've authorized, along with the governor and the legislature, nearly $3.5 billion, and it's going up.
Arizona communities have paid the price for the federal government's failure to fix our broken immigration system.
This morning, the Border Patrol says it is bracing for a migrant surge.
The surge is happening now. It's just going to get worse.
That's why I'm calling on the administration to take action. A federal rule has been in place called Title 42 that immediately returns most migrants who enter the United States to Mexico in order to best protect the health and safety of Arizona communities. Despite this, we've seen unprecedented numbers of migrants attempting to cross our borders, stretching our Border Patrol agents, Arizona communities, and nonprofits' resources very thin. Now, the administration is considering lifting the Title 42 rule, which will result in even more migrants crossing the border into Arizona.
And you're going to see more and more people just released into the streets in those local communities.
I've called on President Biden to keep Title 42 in place until the administration has a comprehensive plan in place and is ready to execute. That's why I'm chairing a hearing to review the administration's plans regarding Title 42. And I'm glad to announce Secretary Mayorkas has committed to ensuring his office's participation. I promise to keep holding the administration accountable and working to secure our border, protect our communities.
You know, he has walked back, and his administration has walked back just about everything he says. Will he walk back this policy on ending Title 42? I doubt it.
I started addressing DHS to say, what is your plan when Title 42 goes away to replace it or to be able to deal with enforcement? They're now presenting their plan to us of what they're going to do when they take Title 42 off. Their plan is to move people into the country faster. That's their whole plan. What they have worked on apparently for a year is the way to expedite people crossing the border and moving into the interior at a faster rate.
Next month or two, when this is lifted, what is there in place that gives the administration confidence that some different result will happen than happened a year ago?
We were able to dramatically reduce those numbers, move those kids quickly out of Border Patrol custody and into the system. So
over the Biden first 4 years, we will apprehend about 10 million people crossing the border. We think we get 1 out of every 3, so that's another 20 million. That's 30 million people. That is 4 New York cities. 4 New York cities coming into this country. He wants to give them green cards because they have to be able to work. Then he wants to give them citizenship because that's next, so they vote and keep Democrats in power. That's what this is about. Green card, citizenship, voting, 10 million people to stay in power and take over this country.